So I hear that a lot more so with women that don't want to body build because they don't want to get bulky.
Welcome to the Project My Life podcast from Monetti Productions.
What's up, guys? Anthony Monetti.
Karen Monetti.
We're
Hello.
back with another podcast, and it's exciting to be back. I'm
Yeah.
excited. It's excited?
It's excited, or it's exciting.
Thank you very much, Karen. I don't know what I would do without you. Happy early Valentine's Day.
Yeah, look at my flowers.
Every day is Valentine's Day, Karen. I was going to ask you about something that I was watching this morning, but I can't remember. I'm sure I will remember in the middle of the podcast, and I'll get back to you on that.
Oh, boy.
All right. Anyway, today we're talking about what is bodybuilding and do you have to bodybuild? And I want to just dive a little bit deeper into that. We've been talking about it in here for, I don't know, ever. And there's some misconceptions about bodybuilding. There's some unawareness of why it's important to build your body and how you don't have to be necessarily labeled as a bodybuilder in order to build your body. And I think that is, I don't know, a big misconception. I even hesitate saying I'm a bodybuilder, or even if you look at our branding and our marketing for the business, if you look at it and then know nothing about us, you would never know that we are, or that you are, a world champ, Miss Universe, fitness competitor, figure athlete. You would never know that I've been bodybuilding competitively for 20 plus years now, because it gets a negative connotation when you hear bodybuilder. Planet Fitness did an amazing job of demoralizing and just criminalizing the bodybuilder with their marketing, targeting people who are afraid to lift weights, thinking that they're going to look like, these superhero looking physiques. So it's become a thing, and I think more and more that people are hesitant to weight train because they think they're going to get big, they think they're going to get muscular or too muscular. So let's dive into it, Karen. What do you got for that? Top of the brain, real quick. Nothing?
I have a lot.
All right. Let's unpack it.
But no, I hear that a lot more so with women that don't want to body build because they don't want to get bulky, right? Because they want to be tone. That's the big thing I hear is I just want to be tone, and I want to be tone in this area, but I don't want to lift heavy because I don't want to get bulky. So I think we need to blast that apart, and that's for men and women too. But I hear that 9 out of 10 women that call us for information, call us, they want to, change their life. They're like, but I don't want to be a bodybuilder.
I don't want to look like you.
Yeah.
I don't want to look like you.
You're not going to. You don't have to.
Arnold Schwarzenegger said it the best. He's like, that's good because you never will. I'm like, I love it because it's I've dedicated my life, and I'm only about 185 pounds when I'm lean. When I'm really lean for competition, right?
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long now. So people feel like as soon as they pick up a weight, they're going to automatically...
instantaneously.
Yeah, it's going to happen that quickly. But it's not the case. I think every body is a bodybuilder because, or I don't like to say should, but I highly
Would benefit.
Would benefit. Great. Thank you, Karen. Mm-hmm. I would highly recommend everybody start building their body in some capacity. Mm-hmm. And there's only one way to do that is resistance training. Somebody asked me recently, they're new on program, and they said, you mentioned weight training. What does that actually mean? And I was like, well, that's a great question, but weight training just means you're using resistance, you're using weights, whether it be a barbell, a dumbbell, a medicine ball, or a resistance band. You're using some kind of a piece of equipment to create some tension and create some resistance on your muscle and train through the resistance, if you will. I'm trying to think about it in my head, all this sciencey stuff, what goes on with the muscle, but you don't really need to know that. All you need to know is you're challenging your body and you're constantly adding different kind of resistance. And what happens over time is your muscles get stronger. It's really that simple. I'm not going to sit here and try to overcomplicate it or sell you on all the other benefits of it. Besides, you're going to look better, you're going to feel better, and you're going to live longer. I mean, I can sum it up just by saying that. But again, it's definitely kind of an misused think, not misused. What's the word I'm looking for, Karen? Talk to me. Help me out.
Misconceived?
Misconceived. There, see, she's always coming. She's always coming through, man.
To the rescue.
Why should people weight train, Karen?
Well, multiple reasons, right? I think the biggest reason is because having lean muscle on the body actually allows your internal organs and your internal system to be healthier. It increases your MET rate, so you actually utilize food better. It helps the more muscle you have, the more fat you can burn too, which again, the more fat in our body, the higher risk we have for diabetes, heart disease, coronary diseases, strokes, all that kind of stuff, right? So bad cholesterol, that kind of thing. Now, I'm not saying, again, if you lift weights, you won't have those, because that's not true. There's genetic components to all this stuff too. But if you have more lean muscle, you are more likely to internally be healthier. Now, from another standpoint, your bone structure is much more sound and your bones are stronger. Not the actual bone itself, but when you have the muscles all surrounding it and they're stronger, if you fall, you might not crack your bone so easily, you know? So as we age, especially women, men do too, but women have a much higher rate of osteoporosis because of our hormonal shift. So the one thing to really, really combat that is weight training. That is what helps slow down the effects of osteoporosis. So again, as we age and our stability gets a little jacked up, our hormones are not working as they should be or can be anymore. Weight training really helps to negate a lot of that. And then if we fall, we're not like brittle bones breaking all the time. It does help with stability long term. And
from a nutrition standpoint, what goes on? Because I want to touch upon it.
What do you mean?
Like, people avoid the weight training because they just want to do the cardio stuff, right? I see it a lot, and I'm generalizing. Yes, I am, but I see it, and I hear it. I've been, doing this long enough now where people will say, well, I don't really like to lift weights. I just, they gravitate toward the fast, high intense interval training style. The heart rate's up. They're really sweating. And sometimes you don't get that when you're doing like sets of, deadlifts or bench press or something like that. So typically people gravitate toward more of the high intense interval training for cardio, which is great.
Yeah. I don't know about you. If I'm really pushing some weight, my heart rate is very elevated.
But because
for a short period of time.
Right. Because you understand it.
Yeah.
And you know the importance of it. And you also know how you feel after you're doing it.
Yes.
Some people are afraid of getting hurt. They don't want to, and rightfully so. You can get hurt with some of this stuff, and if you don't know what you're doing, I definitely have. But that said, you're not going to ever get stronger if you don't bring that resistance into it, right?
Nope.
So I guess metabolically, what I'm talking about is like, okay. So I'll start it and you can finish it.
Okay.
So, in here we have 4 phases of our strength training program, and it's strength and conditioning, hypertrophy, which is muscle building, ACON, which is aerobic conditioning, and anaerobic conditioning. And then we have a transition week. We work on more stability, balance, anti-rotational stuff, more of like a deload week where we're bringing back the intensity, give our central nervous system a little bit of a reprieve, and then we let ourselves recover for the strength week, and we rinse and repeat that, right? All 4 of those are super important to having a well-balanced fitness training program.
Yes.
People mostly gravitate toward one of those and not all 4. And they avoid, sometimes the more intense stuff because they're afraid of, getting hurt, or they're afraid of getting too big, all of it. That said, the best way, we did a little mini podcast this week about it, the best way to burn fat and to live your strongest life is to weight train. Because I was explaining it to somebody here in the studio. When you're doing cardio, and here's why I suggest, everybody should be weight training at some capacity. I don't care how old you are. I don't care how many limitations you have. You should be doing some kind of resistance training 2 to 3 times a week, if not more. When you're doing cardio, your heart is elevated and you're burning calories, and that's great. But as soon as your heart rate comes back down after that cardio session, let's just say it's 20, 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour, you're done burning calories. And your metabolism, I shouldn't bring that word into it, but your heart rate comes back down to a normal rate and you're done burning calories. That's it. It's awesome. You did a great job. You broke a sweat. Good for your heart, good for your lungs, good for your mind, all of it. But your calories are now back to a normal calorie burn, right? When you're doing weight training and you're stressing the muscles and you're giving them resistance you have like little micro tears, and I'm not going to get too scientific with it, but little micro tears happen within the muscles. Now, heart rate comes up a little bit, maybe not as high as when you're doing aerobic exercise.
Chances are
Right.
not as high.
It comes up, but just it's not as high, right? So
and it's not the whole time.
And it's not the
either,
whole time.
'cause you
So
have
it's
rest
like
periods
do a set, right?
and-
Exactly. Do a set, come back down. Do a set, come back down. So your heart rate goes like this for the whole workout. Now, when you're done burning you burn calories for that workout session, the training session.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you're done with that weight training session, your body is now in recovery mode.
Mm-hmm.
So your body is using more energy. Your body is using more calories, more nutrients to get those muscles repaired from the workout.
Mm-hmm.
So not only are you burning calories during that specific workout, 20, 30, 40 minutes, whatever it is, hour, but now all day long, your body is trying to recover by burning more calories. So it just makes sense that you'd want to build more muscle while you're or build more muscle in general so you can burn more fat and be more efficient throughout the day, not just cardio, not just during that cardio session. Now, I do cardio. I did it today for about 45, 50 minutes. I did some intervals. I did some steady state cardio. I love it. Put a podcast on. It was great. Feel good for my heart and my lungs, but it's not the same as doing a weight training session. So anything you want to add on to that as far as calories go or nutrition?
You pretty much hit it all. I mean,
I never do that.
You
There's
pretty
always
much
something you
did
can
though.
add.
No, you pretty much did, but I'm in agreement. Like you need both of them. You have, you really should strength train, but then cardio is really good for blood circulation, oxygen, heart health, lungs, and all that. But if you're really looking to transform your body, you got to put more time into weight training and less time into cardio and more time into your diet.
Yeah.
Newsflash, the diet's really going to make the shape change. I mean, the muscle, you have to have muscle shape under there. You got to build the muscle, but without the proper nutrition, without the enough of protein coming in to repair those muscles and sustain the muscles and to help your metabolic and all of your internal functions, you're not going to make any changes either. You're not going to see any visual changes.
And I'll be honest with you. When I was younger, besides having ADHD, I was in a weird phase in my life where I was not depressed. I wouldn't, maybe sadness. I was just like, my parents moved down the shore and I didn't have many friends. And my life was being disrupted. So I discovered weight training, and it was like an outlet for me to turn all the negative stuff going on in my life into something positive. I always felt better when I was working out or after I was working out.
Mm-hmm.
And now still to this day, the question is, how do you maintain and how do you work out for so long? And, people struggle with some injuries along the way. It's like, I find something that works. I still want to do it because I know how I'm going to feel after I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I think I'm jumping my
we're
thoughts are all over the
jumping.
place.
That's okay.
That's how we do it here in Project My Life.
Well, one of the myths we need to clear out too of bodybuilders, right?
Clear it.
So when people come in, they're like, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I don't want to look like you. Well, first of all, how long have we been training like this? It's not like you're going to come in the first month, you're going to gain all this muscle. And I think what a lot of people struggle with is they say, I don't want to look bulky. Mostly women say this. I'm not taking men away because I do have a few men that say that too. But most of the women I work with are like, I don't want to look bulky. I want to be lean and skinny and, all that, but I want tone. Well, it's not the weight training that makes you bulky. It's when we start weight training and building some muscle and filling those muscles with glycogen, if our diet is excessive and we're eating too much for our body to handle, the fat also grows and fluffs up. So as the muscle starts to increase in volume, the fat gets pushed up too. And that's where we look bulky, right? So it does come down to eating. Well, if you're looking to burn body fat, it comes down to eating in a deficit, right? Having enough of protein come in, having enough of recovery, but then weight training. If you do cardio all day long, and this is a big thing, I do tell every member that we work with, and I really try to stress this. If you just do cardio and you just restrict your diet and you're not eating enough in your diet and you're not weight training, even if you lose weight on a scale, you can technically have more body fat.
Skinny fat.
Yeah, than you did before you even started your diet. So it's really important to shift our body composition to more muscle, less fat, and that is through diet and weight training.
Done.
Because you can be really skinny looking, but have more body fat than if you were just put some muscle on. And that doesn't mean you're healthy. The people who look visually skinny doesn't mean they're healthy either if their body fat is higher than their muscle composition.
I see it all the time in the local gym. I see people doing the cardio and they're sweating their asses off, exhausting themselves, and their body has it's like, I've ran a couple 5Ks, and you see the people who are like, sometimes some people who are crushing me in the speed, you would never think that they were able to run like that because their bodies don't resemble their athleticism because they have all this extra fat on them.
Probably all they do though is train.
All they do is train, right? So they have, and I'm not saying that, I'm not judging them. It's just you can see the more body fat that they have on their body because they're not doing strength training.
Sure.
I've seen marathon runners cross the finish line. I'm like, how is that woman crossing the finish line right now and running for 3 hours? And she's,
they
I
just
don't
train
know,
for that.
60,
And you eat a lot because you're hungry when you're running that much too. So it comes down to diet.
Right. That's a
times.
whole different topic. But I want to talk real quick, and then we'll wrap this up.
Well, wait, real quick about
go.
runners, because I'm a runner.
Uh-oh.
And I'm a runner for my life. I've been running since I was 14 years old for cross
Thank
country,
God you're not running from me.
cross country, varsity, all that. And if you are a runner or an endurance athlete, weight training will totally change your whole entire game and performance. I got so much stronger and faster
When
and
she met me.
recovered better when I met Anthony. True, because I was on a weight training program and I started eating better. But my running has come down. My times have come down significantly. And I account it all to putting muscle on my body because I have better form, my muscles recover, I just have more strength, more oomph, more output, more power. It is incredible. Like I ran varsity for high school. And again, okay, I ran 4 years then, right? I've put a lot of time in. So naturally you get a little bit better. But as we age, we don't get that much better if we're not like, making it our career. But I have shaved like 5 minutes off my 5K, all in strength training. I've got my PRs. The older I'm getting, the more PRs I hit because of my weight training and the diet too, right? But so if you are an endurance athlete, gotta get your strength training in. It will help your performance tremendously.
For sure.
That was just my little tidbit there.
You won't become muscle bound like your boy Anthony over here. All right. Well, I want to touch upon what you said about people will say that they don't want to look like, a certain way, look like a bodybuilder. And I would question that a little bit. Is it because you don't really want to look like that, or you don't think it's possible? Is
your idea the people you see, like the ones who are maybe not natural,
right?
And your idea of a bodybuilder are the ones who are taking so many things, and the women are bigger than you. Right.
Or you think that it's going to take, you're going to have to spend 3 or 4 hours in the gym and you think you're going to have to sacrifice all your foods and you're going to have to eat chicken and broccoli and, brown rice for the rest of your life and nothing else. So I think that there's a lot of misconceptions about bodybuilding. And I'll be honest with you, I was on national syndicated television talking about how I was eating frozen vegetables and chicken in a wok twice a day
with lettuce,
with 1,200 calories per day. And there's some context behind that nobody knew about. I had just done a show that I actually binged my face off that MTV did not film, that I had to significantly, or I should say severely, drop my caloric intake in order to do well in the show that MTV was filming me for. So, I mean, there was some context that nobody knew about. Yeah.
We don't recommend that.
I don't recommend that. But but what did you see? I was, this meathead bodybuilder who was spending all this time in the gym, and I was doing double sessions, and I was doing, chicken and frozen vegetables twice a day.
And a gallon of water. Chugging it around.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't have to do that either, guys. You don't have to do that.
I don't do that. I don't do that anymore. We don't teach that. But sum it up, everybody is a bodybuilder. You don't have to be labeled as a bodybuilder to build your body.
And you can eat real fun foods while building your body. So you don't have to live on chicken, rice, and vegetables only. And eggs and egg whites and protein shakes. Those are all very good foods and there's a lot of benefit to them. But you don't have to live like eating that. Like you can have chocolate, you can have chili, you can have a pizza here and there. Like you can have fun with your food and still build your body.
Day, speaking of,
is it really?
Did you know that? It is National
Who's getting some pizza today?
I forgot about that.
Just joking.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. People on the live, I appreciate you. Hello, Mary. Hello, Primal. Hello, you guys. Thank you for joining us, talking about bodybuilding and misconceptions. and
Why everybody should be a
why
bodybuilder.
everybody should become a bodybuilder. Don't be afraid of it. All right, guys, believe in yourself, trust the process, practice patience. You can catch me on Instagram at Anthony, Monetti, and my beautiful bride here,
Karen_Monetti.
what's the last name?
Monetti.
Boom. Believe in yourself, trust the process, practice patience. I will see you on the other side.
Toodaloo.
Thanks for listening. For more information, visit our website at thisisbody.com. That's thisisbodhi.com.